Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, Reeling in Holistic Health, where we care about your mental health and well being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, and I want to make sure that you tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I have my special guest on to talk about real issues that matter most. I want you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook Live, on Business Facebook page, also on the Be Awesome Network. Stay tuned. I think you're going to really like this next guest. Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, where we care about your mental health and well-being. I am your host, Coach Rice, and with me today, I have a certified health and nutrition life coach. His name is Michael Dorfman. Michael, tell us, where you from and how long have you been in nutrition and health and in that arena? How long have you been in that field?
Okay. Well, I'm speaking to you from Mexico. I've been living in Mexico. Actually, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I don't know if it's my
Okay, I'm
accent.
familiar.
Okay. So, but I've been living in a total about 53 years in Mexico. And I'm really loving it here. So I was born in Brooklyn in 1942. So I'm
Mm,
84, I was 84 years old in January and 84, actually 84 and a half now. So, and I'm
really?
thriving. I'm enjoying my life. And I got interested in health. Uh, so in 1976, I became a vegetarian. Before that, I did so many things. Went to university, postgraduate, Queens College, bachelor's degree in Brooklyn College in psychology, and I played football in college. In high school, I got four football scholarships. I was a bigger guy then. I played the line. Now I'm not that size anymore at all because I weighed close to like 200 pounds when I was playing football. Now I weigh 134. So but
Wow.
I play a lot of pickleball.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm a pickleball fan. I played this morning. I usually play like 3 or 4 times a week. I, uh, I was always into competitive sports, whether it was football, basketball, baseball. I just loved it when I was younger. And as I grew older, I couldn't find any competitive sports, but I got into health. And one of the most important things for me now is playing pickleball because it's a very healthy sport, especially for people as they age. It just uses so much of the mind, the body, the physical and the mental clarity, and it tests your sharpness, your reflexes, your mind-body connection. So it's something I really enjoy doing now, and I really love it. So that
That's
was,
good.
but I really became interested in health. I became a vegetarian in 1976, but at that time it wasn't really for health reasons. It was
Okay.
more I became interested because of I became interested in Eastern philosophy and religion, which I'm still interested in now. And at that time, I knew that a lot of people on that side of the world were vegetarians, so I became a vegetarian, basically for that reason. But what was happening to me is I was getting ill a couple of times a year, and I didn't know why. It was not the serious illness. It was more like sore throat, congestion, headaches, fever,
Okay.
like flu-like symptoms. And I was getting sick, and I didn't know what the reason was, but this was happening every year. My brother, who's still alive, he's in his 90s now. He was just 90 last year. Lives in New York. He was plant based at that time, and we're talking about 1976. He was already plant based about 10 years, and even
Mm,
before the word vegan was even, many people didn't even know about that. So he told me that maybe the problem was I was eating dairy, even though I had given up the meat. So I couldn't give up the dairy because I love pizza, I love cheese in general, yogurt. So I said, forget about it. And I went
You didn't
on
want
years.
pizza without the cheese? No.
Now I do. But anyway, then I couldn't give it up. So I told him, forget about it. And I went on and I still kept getting sick. So finally, it was about 18 years ago that he told me to read the book. It was called The China Study, which was written by T. Colin Campbell, who's a biochemist from Cornell University. So he was contracted by China by the actually by the leader of China, Chow Enlai at that time, and he went across and they did a study in China among over 160 different municipalities that was on cancer. And Chow Enlai eventually passed away because of cancer, but he wanted to find out the differences. Why is cancer experienced in one part of the country and not in the other part of the country? Why is it experienced more in big cities, not in rural counties? So he did it. It was a 20-year study. I read the book and I became, it made an impact on me and I made the change and I became plant-based 18 years ago and I haven't turned back, looked back ever since. And I didn't continue with those experiences. And it changed my life. And that's what I'm still doing now so that was my connection to plant-based health, which is
Okay.
now more expanded because it's not just eating the plants for me. It's a lot more than that.
So, in your journey, you look great, by the way.
Thank you.
In your journey, what's the difference between vegan and plant-based?
Yeah, that's a good question. And my first book, I wrote my first book in 2019 was The Thriving Vegan. So I considered myself a vegan then. But then I understood that most people who become vegans uh, are because of ethical reasons, because of the treatment of animals, maybe
Right.
planet Earth. So they're in for it mostly for that. And they don't eat anything that's, animal products at all. They don't use animal products, shoes or belts or anything like that. But the main reason is the way the animals are treated, and they're still treated today. So, but they're not that interested in health. So you can be a vegan and still
And
eat,
be unhealthy.
you're healthy, right? You eat fried potatoes, white flour, cakes, and anything. Drink Coca-Cola. So that's what it's all about. And actually, a friend of mine and me, we formed a Facebook group several years before the pandemic, which is called the Vegan Wave. And right, we thought started with 30 members. Now there's over 1,000 members,
Oh,
but
wow.
most 90% are in it, or maybe even more, because of the animals. So that's the difference. That's why I don't like to call myself vegan anymore.
Okay.
It's more, yeah, I like to call myself plant powered because, even though I'm 100%, it's not necessary anymore for me. When I speak to people, I coach people that because I connected a lot with the blue zones, which are the healthiest and longest, supposedly the healthiest and longest living populations of the planet. And they eat pescatarians. They eat fish. Some eat places, but not in the amount that we eat here in the West. On the standard American diet. It's not the principle. It's mostly plant based, maybe 85, 90% in these the blue zones. So so that's I think the main reason. And people they just love to eat vegan foods, but not specifically because see, there are many vegan foods that are highly processed. Why?
Right.
Because people want it to taste like the meat that they used to eat or the cheese that
They
they
want a
used to eat.
substitute.
Substitute. Okay, so what do we have to do to substitute? We got to start adding these other things to take the place of, to make it taste more like meat.
So you mentioned zones. I never heard of that before. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, these are it's the Blue Zones. It was founded. They were founded in around two. I think it was 2008, 2009, by Dan Buettner. He was working for National Geographic, and they sent him out with a team to find out where the longest living and healthiest people on the planet live.
Hmm.
And these people, they don't experience the chronic diseases like we do, very rarely, and they live 10 to 15 years longer than we do in the West. So in the West, we live, okay, let's say 70, the mid 70s, upper 70s. They're living in their upper 80s and 90s and enjoying it. And I'll get into the documentary in a moment. But there are people there. They're in their over 100 and they're still working and taking care of the cattle, whatever they do, and the gardens. And in fact, there's one of the blue zones is Loma Linda, California, which is it's considered a blue zone, and they play pickleball there, the older people. So that's part of their routine. So anyway, it was a 2 year search, and the blue zones. I'll just go off. There were five of them were founded: Okinawa, Japan; Sardinia in Italy; Icaria in Greece; Loma Linda in California; and Nicoya, Costa Rica. And now
Hmm.
Dan Buettner, he wrote several books on the blue zones, but there are now blue zone communities, many of them now in the United States. I don't have the list of them, but they are striving to follow the lifestyle in many ways of what they do in the blue zones. So part of the search was to find out where these blue zones were. But the other part of the search was to find out are there similarities, because the blues these populations were separated by oceans, large
Right.
land masses, and they've been following the same lifestyle for hundreds of years. So, are there similarities, even though they may have not been in contact with each other? These blue zones, something was happening that said this is healthy in each one of them. So one of it
Hmm.
was is plant based was the main thing, one of the main parts, and then they had exercise and movement. So it wasn't so much exercise in the sense of going to the gym and doing something once a day. It was being moving, being active, not sitting down and watching TV for hour upon hour, or just but moving, getting, if you're sitting not for long periods, every 20 minutes, every half hour, you get up and start moving around. So movement
Right.
was very important in each one of these populations. Another thing was purpose, that people had purpose in their lives. They had a meaning. Uh, and it goes against what we experience in the West. You look in your 80s and your 90s, and like, well, what's there to look forward to? You may
Right.
have a chronic disease already, and all you can do is manage it. But there, it's different. There, it's people had they loved to do things, whether it was gardening, whether it was writing, whether it was playing music, singing, helping people, something, volunteering. That's
Yeah.
something that you can
That
give
gives them purpose.
purpose, and also giving. So that was another part of it. And then one very important part was the caring communities. Each one of these blue zones, the people were part of caring communities, whether it
Mm.
was religion based, or similar activities. They like to do the same things. So uh, it was people cared for each other. And you find out, in the history of humanity, human beings are social animals. We
Yes.
we do, we could be alone because we're very resilient. People can even be in solitary confinement and somehow survive. But if we look back into our ancestors, and the hunter gatherers, even they lived in tribes, and that
Right.
was a natural thing. It wasn't say, okay, let's form a tribe. They depended upon each other. maybe because of these wild animals that were, chasing them, or they had to move from one place to another. They helped each other survive. So that
Mm.
was it. And they were groups of, I think they said 15 to 25 people in the group, but they helped each other when they got sick, and it was just that's what human beings do well with, in groups like that. So that was another thing, and also stress reduction was another thing that was important.
Hmm.
Meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, breath work, which I do a lot of. So these were some of the main things that I found that were very important, and I adapted in my life. So
Oh,
I do.
okay.
So that was the thing, and then I went on, and now I'm doing other things because there's a whole new movement, for longevity. Longevity is like a very popular topic now. So that's what I that those are the blue zones. Was all about.
Wow. So let's talk about your latest book, The Longevity Wellness Revolution. Tell us about it, and what is it that you hope that the readers get out of it?
Okay. Well, this is the book.
Okay.
This is the book, and it's the Longevity Wellness Revolution: a bold new blueprint for thriving in the fifth stage of life. And I call the fifth stage of life from 80 to 100 plus. So why did I divide it up into five stages? Well, I divided life into like five stages, and I go into it more in the book. Stage one is like from 1 to 19, when you had a lot of growth and you're experiencing things, and hormonal changes. We're growing. So that was the first stage. Then you have the second stage of life is from 20 to 39. It's when people go to studying, they go to university, they may find someone, get married, have children, get a home. To 39, from 40 to 59, supposedly you reach to get some success in your life. The children leave home, and so that's the 50. And then you go into 60 to 79. People are looking towards uh, retirement. So now it's time to retire. And the big mistake is they retire and they don't do anything. So it's just, oh, I don't have to work anymore, da 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 da. And you just you get into into a mindset of just taking it easy. And that's exactly what we need to really thrive as you get older, because everything slows down. We need, this is what I find in my experience now, I'm 84, is that we love our body, and our mind requires challenges. That not doing anything is bad. It not doing anything is just, we're just gonna it's gonna winding down, and that is not healthy for our minds, and it's not healthy for our body. So what I'm all about is challenges, is doing things that keep me alive, you know give me energy, keep me focused, keep me clear, so I can make conscious decisions. My purpose in my life, my purpose is to helping people, writing, doing podcasts. I'm getting ready to launch my books, coaching. So this is this vibrancy that I feel, and this is what we can experience. The problem is that this is not what people believe. People believe that they're in their 60s and in the 70s. It's I'm not saying not everyone, but there is nothing that really helps us to get beyond the 70s. We're not, doctors are not giving us, oh, it's going to be great after 70, or the social media is telling us to be great after the 70s. On the contrary, you're over the hill, or it's there's nothing really much to give. Now's the time just to hang out, sit out on the porch, and just relax and wait. Wait for what? Wait for whatever's coming. But I feel like it's important to take life by the horns, and that's what I'm all about. And it's really interesting because what's so special about my situation? And I really recently realized it is that is longevity, like I mentioned, is a very, very popular topic. And there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people into longevity, in the studies, the research. So a couple of times people have said, you ought to listen to this summit. It's on longevity, and there's going to have 15 or 20 experts on longevity. And I go and I look at that, and I look at these people, and none of them are over 60 or years of age. So I'm saying, hey, wait a second, I should be on that summit because I'm experiencing this, because
Right.
living, experiencing vitality in your 80s requires a mindset, and an
Mm,
identity, which is very important. But if you're in your 60s and you're talking about longevity, it's not based on mindset because you're not experiencing living in that time yet. You're
that's
based,
true.
it's on research and what the
It's
studies are
not
showing you. Yeah,
personalized.
but I'm saying this is what's happening for me, and I'm trying these things out. And I'm saying, hey, this works really great, or this doesn't work that great. So this is what I
Mhm.
feel like I'm in a special situation, and this is what I want to tell people. I'm a guide, and a longevity guide, and this is what I'm inviting people to read the book and learn what I'm going through, and I've been through during my life. So that's what longevity. It just came out like 3 weeks ago
Oh,
on
that's awesome.
Amazon.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
amazing. And so with this, you write about the longevity part, people don't quite think about how age is a number, but we need to get into movement. We need to get into we need to stay in the momentum of that. But for some reason, you're right, a lot of talk about you're doing too much at that age. You get a lot of that echoing. You need to slow down. You get that kind of language when you get a certain age. And but it's really you need to move more because your
ex-
body is changing, right? And and
absolutely.
so I think that's a topic that really needs to be discussed. And you are the example of living it. So who better to go to talk about this because you live in it. You live in the actual age and vitality, and you playing pickleball ain't easy. and and so you're doing all the things and movement, lack of movement. They say that sitting long periods of time is the new smoking.
Yeah, I can believe that. It's really looking at life uh, from a different perspective. And
Mhm.
and that's why I mentioned the mindset is very important because when you get in like my mindset is I don't think about what age I am. I do once in a while, but it's not like central in my life. Hey, I'm 84. And
Right.
it's true that I don't have that many years left. I mean, even if I live to 100, it's like another 15 years. It's not that much, but it comes back to this thing of like understanding what life is. Life comes once. Yes, people think, may believe that, okay, you reincarnated, you come back, or you go to heaven. I don't know about that. But I do know that this is real for me. And this is like, even like heaven on earth, it's like this is what we can experience because we know this is real. So I life for me is our greatest gift.
Mhm.
Where it came from, how it came, I don't know, because it's a gift. I got it. I didn't ask for it, I got it. So
Right.
here I am experiencing this gift that comes around once in eternity for me. As far as my name, Michael Dorfman, I don't know anything, but it's here now. So I want to have,
You want to
experience
experience it.
the preciousness of life. And there's another gift that's really important. And this is what I also, you know, talk about a lot is the gift of our body. because this is the
Mm-hmm.
temple where life
Yeah, the
lives.
temple.
Yeah, it's a temple, and so if you really want to enjoy your life, then you should really take care of your body, because no matter what, if you get a chronic illness and things really turn south and bad for you, it's not easy to really enjoy your life. So you really
That's
want
true.
to do the best you can, and if you do get a chronic illness or you do get something that's not very health wise, you know search for ways to get it maybe reversed, because through proper nutrition, what I for me is plant-based nutrition, and lifestyle practices, many things that you can live a long healthy life even if you do have a chronic disease. I've been on podcasts of multiple sclerosis, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune diseases. I'm coming up with one on terminal cancer. And the reason it's really great, because the cause, it's all the same how you can deal with it. It's really, if you live your life to the fullest and you take care of your body and you just have a positive outcome, things can really go well for you, even if you're not feeling that well.
That's
And
true.
that's what the possibility is. It's so powerful. The mindset is so powerful. And if
Mm.
you have a mindset that yeah, I'm really enjoying this life in my 80s and hopefully in my 90s. And what does it mean to enjoy? What does it mean to be a person who enjoys this life? What should I do? What should I eat? What should I give my body? What should I feed my mind? How should I reduce my stress? So you start focusing in on all the things that continue the vitality, that continue, that you're allowed to thrive at whatever age you are, because you're never too young. And that's another point that's really important. Maybe people don't think about living, aging in their 30s or 40s or 50s. They don't think about it because, you're young, you're in your teenager, you think you're going to live forever. So, but,
That's true.
it's true. But, it's not true that, all of a sudden you get cancer, all of a sudden you get a heart. It comes from,
Yes, it
over,
comes.
it comes slowly. My father, when I was born in 42, it was during the war, World War II, and my father didn't have to go to the war because he had two children. So they put him in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. So he was painting ships, the hulls, underneath the hulls of ships, and he did that throughout the whole the war. And in the hulls of ships, there's asbestos, which at that time was not known to be a carcinogen, causing cancer. So, and now we know it. It's mesothelioma is the cancer caused by asbestos. So my father was exposed to it in the 40s, and he didn't. He passed away. It's at the age of 78. It took 40 years for that cancer to grow little by
Wow.
little. So when people, from women especially, they go for a mammogram and they say, "Oh, it's early detection." Uh-uh.
It's
It
been
got to the point
festering.
that it's picked up by the machine. But this could be developed for a couple of decades,
Mm-hmm.
because so it's really important for people to understand that the best way to really experience longevity and enjoy your life as you age is to start as early as you can, taking care of yourself and understanding that heart disease, that cancer, type 2 diabetes in kids now never happened before.
No, but it's
So
happening
it's
a
it's
lot.
getting worse and worse. And the world, not only in the US or in the West, but around the world, people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker.
Mhm. And so do you, when you take on your clients, do you how do you actually help them? Is it mindset, diet, physical? How do you go about walking them through that journey as a
Well,
coach?
yeah, I usually do small groups, maybe three or four, and it's all based on habit changes.
Okay.
Uh, that's where I don't know if you know about the book, The Atomic Habits. It's a great book about building habits because we're human beings are creatures of habit. So most of us, we like habits that we keep on doing, that we continue doing the things, whether they're good for us or not. So, I'll all depends, but what's very important is, in maybe the initial thing I get started with is nutrition. So I'll start with, finding out what people are eating, and then I find out, oh, they're eating some good stuff, and they eat meat, and I'm not into don't do this so much. I'm into
Okay.
adding more of the good stuff. And if the good stuff gives you changes, like, oh, okay, you start eating healthier, plant-based, you lose some weight, you feel more energy. In other words, you get some reward. So I'm into that, and then say, okay, so that worked. So maybe the next step is, let's expand a little bit. And people, when they get the good results, then they start seeing that, hey, it's not that hard to change a habit. So I
Hmm.
start, with that. And then, because I do some Tai Chi, and I do Qigong, and I do breath work. So a little by little, it'll depend upon, the person. I'll, I'll introduce some changes, and then I'll, maybe once a week we'll meet, and then I give them some work to do, for the week that I'm not with them, but I'm always on call. And so this is the way it is done by me: is lifestyle changes, changing habits little by little, and if dealing. A lot of people have stress, and how to deal with stress. So and if I have some people that have some sort of a trauma that I can't, I'm a coach. I'm not a doctor, so
Right.
I don't want to get into that. So, I'll help them. I have, other people that I can refer them to. And so that's the way I work it. But it's changing, making small changes that people can do. What's the smallest change you can make right
Right.
now? Let's start with that. So that's the way I've been doing it.
Oh, nice. Okay. And so people can join those groups by just making an appointment with you and do a consult. How does that work?
Yeah, you can do it on my website. On my website, I'm planning right now to have a course, which is going to be
Okay.
an online course, so people can do it by themselves. Well, it's I'll be giving the teaching, so I'm working on that. And yeah, so through my website, contact me.
Okay.
Uh,
And we'll have that in the
okay,
video
yeah.
as well. Okay. Well, what's one piece of advice would you like to leave the audience?
Uh, I think that the one piece of advice is, it's never too early to start, and it's never too late to start. So if
Okay.
you're young, yeah, just, and remember that it's a lot of this requires you have to take responsibility for your health, because if you go to doctors, they help in certain circumstances, but you want to really start understanding that your body has incredible healing powers. So if
Mm,
we should start tuning into our own body. So we have to become responsible for our own health. And I'm sure that's what's your response, with holistic health, and that's what you
yes.
do as well.
Yes, you're right. We got to be responsible for our own health. But thank you so much, Michael. I really, truly enjoyed our conversation. And, I know that, you know, it's nice to be able to help people when you have walked that journey yourself. It's always nice. And to the audience, if you really want to know what it looks like to have longevity and also to find out what healthy looks like and want to be part of the blue zone, please reach out to Michael and set up an appointment so you can really get the knowledge that you need. And until then, I would say definitely subscribe, follow, please comment and let us know how we doing. Until then, have a fantastic Monday. It's your time to shine. Your journey to chart. Coach Rice wisdom.